Hey, and welcome to another episode of Master Race Debaters. I'm Gavin Stevens. This week, B Black and I are here for the full hour. It's just me and B Black. And we're talking about the NFL fines for kneeling this week. Yes, they're going to fine NFL players if they kneel for this, the national anthem. Also, we talk about why white people don't see white privilege. Or not all white people. Some white people don't see white privilege. Why is that? And in our white tier segment, the saltiest of our segments, we are talking about Tomi Lahren and how she got water thrown on her, how that became a big national incident. It was huge. Anyway, without further ado, here we go. Another exciting episode of Master Race Debaters. All right, we're recording. Okay, so King couldn't be with us this week, but it's you and me, B Black. We're going to hold it down. Yep. So I wanted to talk. Excuse me, I just burped in the mic. Let's take this over. All right.
Yes, man. Kids are listening to
the kids are listening to me burp. So the NFL issued a statement this week saying that players that kneel during the national anthem will be fined money. I'm not sure. Do you know how much it was?
Oh, no, I didn't get that detail.
I think they're getting fined money and they get and a 15-yard penalty.
Oh,
if they come out. Yeah, so they could stay under in the I was going to say dormitories, but that's how much I watch football. But in the in the dormitories, in the locker room, and they won't get fined. I kind of know how you feel about it.
Compromise.
They approved a new national anthem policy that requires players to stand if they were on the field during the performance, but gives them the option to remain in the locker room if they prefer. It was announced on Wednesday. So I don't know. It feels like no one got Colin Kaepernick's message.
That's some sad shit. Yes, you're right. Uh-huh.
No one got it, and especially the NFL, they didn't get it. I guess I kind of know how you feel, but do you want to? How
do I feel?
Tell me. Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay, so. Well, in the sense that I've always hated the NFL since birth. Okay, that's a lie.
Since birth?
Oh, that's a lie. No, since I figured out I sucked at football, and one sucked at football, wasn't entertained by the game, couldn't follow it, but worst of all, was surrounded by people who expected me to be a great football player. So it bothered me. Yeah. So I've always had beef with the NFL. Everyone wanted to be a player, but no one was encouraged to be a coach. I knew from the get-go there was a problem about that, right?
It feels kind of plantation-y.
It felt kind of plantation. Angry black guy, B Black, had a problem with the NFL from the get-go. So for today,
remember,
this is not, I'm not surprised. I'm not. It's just it's like the Klan decided to take off their hoods. They just reasserted their racism.
Well, do you remember? It was a few years ago. It must have been like 5 or 10 years ago, where it was like two QBs, like the first time two black quarterbacks were in the whatever the super stupid bowl, and people were losing their fucking mind. Like, how can a black man quarterback a team? Like, that's the intelligent.
What the? Fuck? They got brains and shit like that. Yeah. Hey, can we switch it up? I mean, or do you want to switch it in the sense that because I have an associate at work who loves the NFL, right? But he's a conservative, and this is what kills me. Yeah. I bond with this guy at work. Like we joke with each other, but the only thing we can get along is as long as we don't talk about racial issues. So I'm in a fit, okay? So he talked about, hey, look, man, the owners. This is how he looked at it. The owners, if you want to protest on your own time, but you're being paid all this money. Fuck. I know, right? This dude does not realize how he's calling me a nigger. But not realizing, like, I'm taking it, y'all. Fuck. All right, let's just talk about camping. Let's just talk about white people shit. Because if we talk about the NFL, I might have to choke him.
You have to make him feel comfortable for you, like for him. Like, hey, don't talk about the NFL. because I'm uncomfortable with it. The race thing in the NFL, because it makes me uncomfortable. Like, just make it about what I'm comfortable about.
Dude, yes. Yeah, exactly. That's one. So this is probably why a lot of my relationships with white people are fake. To say fake. You know, as long as I don't talk about certain aspects about my life, then we'll get along. No,
I was listening to this interview with not with Ta-Nehisi, but it was about Ta-Nehisi Coates, and this guy was saying how Ta-Nehisi, when he worked at the Atlantic, his boss was he would say that his boss wanted to talk about like race realism, which is basically like eugenic shit. You know how black people aren't smart, you know, genetically are not smart.
Oh.
So Ta-Nehisi, he told his wife that he felt uncomfortable because he would be quiet and just like, you know, whatever. Yeah. And it was just a very uncomfortable conversation. But then the same conversation on the boss's side, he's like, oh, we used to have amazing conversations. We were like, it was because we were open to each other's ideas and we would share and express. And basically the white dude was just happy that dude kept his mouth shut.
The white, yeah.
As long as Ta-Nehisi kept his mouth shut, then it was an open debate of free ideas.
Yeah. To him, it was an open debate of free ideas. Exactly.
As soon as you disagree with his point or bring up your own point, then it's like, well, it's censorship.
Or you just
that's the other thing. That's the other thing I want to bring up is where are the censorship people on this anyway? Like, where are the people who are always screaming about censorship in colleges and shit? Where are they?
I know, right? Ain't that a bitch? I know. What the fuck, Jordan, Mr. Peterson?
Sorry?
Yo, free ideas and shit like that, man. Yo, the market of free ideas. Yo. Hey,
well, this is true censorship, right? Like, this is you're stopping people from protesting, which they should have the legal right to.
Yeah, exactly. America was founded on fucking rebellion. And this is the part that breaks my heart is Americans have always been about confronting authority. But when injustice happens, we speak out. That's what America's all about. But when it comes to the injustice of black people, they mute. It's like, oh no, that's a different story.
No, don't want to talk about that shit.
That breaks my heart, man. We're laughing, but I'm just stopping myself from crying right now. But yeah, man, it's sad shit. Yo, hey, let me try to raise your blood pressure here. This black comic who I won't call out. I know you're going to try to get me to call him out, but I'm not going to do it because I don't like conflict. Yo, he posted some bullshit on Facebook about how. It's a black dude too.
Do I know him?
I doubt it. Okay. I doubt it, but you will when you get to town. Anyways, and I want to believe he regrets it today. He posted this shit about how, hey, you don't see NHL protesting anything. You know why? Because they ain't pussies. I'm like, oh shit, lost my mind. I told, yeah, well, they did protest the salary hike, salary cap. Not too long ago when they went on.
Yeah, didn't they go on strike? Well, it's funny that we're not pussies for not wanting cops murdering us.
Motherfuckers, man. Yeah.
Like, we're pussies for like, hey, let's stop murdering us. Pussies. Just take the murder. Take the L.
But here's the thing. This article that I read over the news of the NFL goes NFL fans overwhelmed. Okay, so apparently the fans overwhelmingly support the league's decision to do that. The fans are like, yo, no, we just want to see a game.
What article said that?
This is from Yahoo Sports. Fans was they did a statistic. They did a census on that shit.
That just says to me that most fans are white.
Data. Ding, 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 ding.
Or white adjacent.
Yo, this is how they broke down. So the question was, not surprisingly, racial breakdown. Not surprisingly, white Americans support the policy, while black Americans do not. Here's a breakdown of the support opposition as it relates to ethnicity. So white, 52% support, 32% oppose. Black, 29% support. That's my brother, even though he doesn't watch NFL. 48% oppose. And Hispanics, you're motherfucking Hispanics, 49% support all these Zimmermans and 19% oppose.
Your brother would start watching the NFL just to support, just to be in that statistic, just to bump up those numbers. What the fuck? But it just says is like, yeah, look, no one cares about your problem. That's all. That's what the stats say. Is no one cares about your problem.
Pretty much. I'm trying to think of a group that I don't care about. Were they to do the same? Like, did you hear about Nazis? You know what I mean?
Alt-right. Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. I don't know if you heard about this this marathon. I'm not sure if it was in Boston or was it in? There was a marathon, and this lady, she wanted to protest, or she wanted to bring awareness to the fact that some girls don't have access to, what's that word? Feminine hygiene products.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she protested by running the whole thing without while bleeding. Exactly. It's just
Jesus Christ. Well, the good thing is she'll never get lost. She has a trail. There's always a trail. You know where to find her. Oh, what's that pack of dogs doing? There's a whole bunch of raccoons behind this woman.
For a split second, I will say a split second, I was able to relate to my coworker who's like, look, I don't want to hear that shit. I just paid to see y'all play, juggle some balls for me and shit like that. Now, I'm sensitive to the okay, I'm aware of the subject. Now, I spread the word, mission accomplished. No, I don't think I would diss her for it, because, mission accomplished.
Well, the whole point is to make you uncomfortable. That's the whole point of that protest.
Exactly.
It's to make you uncomfortable. It's to raise awareness. You're supposed to go, oh, fuck, that makes me feel like shit. Why do I feel like shit? What's going on? And then you look at, and then you go, oh, but everyone loves status quo. As much as people hate status quo, people love status quo. Like we just, the PC party in Ontario just announced they're going to do, or Doug Ford announced they're going to do a $1 beer. So that's his party plan. His whole party plan is bread and circus. He's going to give us a $1 beer. And it's like, there's assholes out there going, fucking right. I'm voting PP.
Yeah, you just call it bread and circus?
That's what it's called, right? That's what it was. It's like that's what propaganda is. It's bread and circus.
I love that one. Okay. Yeah. I think, and so for him, Ontarians are a bunch of Peter Griffin and Homer Simpsons.
Exactly.
What the fuck? You know what I mean? And how much alcohol can you get out of a buck?
It's like that. It's like that scene in Kill Bill when Bill is describing Superman. Remember that scene where he's like saying how Clark Kent, Superman is the real character, and Clark Kent is how Superman sees humans, bumbling and weak and feeble.
Wow,
it's the same thing. The Doug Ford is that's how he sees us as fucking beer swiggling jackasses.
Hey, us being poor people.
Yeah,
poor people
giving some beer. Shut the fuck. Let them eat cake. Let them eat cake. It's fucking French Revolution bullshit.
These guys, they kill me with a buck of beer. Yeah, man, that dude has little regards for either our intelligence or overestimates his own
But he's also not wrong, because if you look at this NFL protest, how many people who are just average pieces of shit are behind? I don't want to hear this. Like maybe you need to hear about police brutality because maybe it affects you. Maybe it affects you. No. Okay, well, let them keep arming themselves. Let them keep building up a military state as police officers. Yeah. And then when you need to, like the idea, we have weapons, so just in case the government goes against us, we can militia. And you're full of shit. Let them keep arming their police units like the military, and then see what happens when they start turning on every citizen, because they don't give a fuck about any citizen. They really don't.
They don't. Now, here's the other thing too: is the racism expressed today is no different than the one that existed during slavery. And this is what I'm trying to get at: is racism was necessary so that white people wouldn't be like, "Hey, we're enslaving human beings, right? Like right now, there's a video of China mistreating dogs. Apparently, for China and for Chinese in that part of the world, dogs aren't considered pets. They're just considered like the same way we would treat cows. Or I don't know if they eat them, but they got no love for dogs over there, right?
Got no love for dogs.
Yeah, so they put them in cage. They're like I saw one where this dude has like like I don't know if he's trying to set one on fire or some shit like that. There.
Wait a second. Just randomly set a dog on fire.
I'm looking at what the fuck is this doing, right?
What the fuck do dogs do to Chinese people where you randomly want to set a dog on fire? It's like, you see that fucking Cocker Spaniel over there? I am sick of its face. Where's my lighter? Where's my barbecue fluid?
Yo, they're mistreating. Like, I like. Don't get me wrong. I feel shitty for it, but it's that part of the world. Now, there's this one white lady. She posted something about, yo, I don't care if the shit makes me racist, but that's what's fucked up. What they're doing over there to those dogs. Now, I kind of wish she would take a step back and remember the fact that, hey, you used to do that to people. Huge difference.
Well, they still do it to people, right? They still like.
Oh, but what I'm getting at is racism is what made it possible for white people to look at another human being and say, you are not entitled to the respect, the honor, the rights that I have. Like, for me, racism was like one big ass mind game. You know, I went from thinking that, hey, no, this is how white people are, until realizing, no, that's what racism does. Like, if white people started to be like, hey, poor black people, that would fuck up a bit. Like, you know, because slavery was like an economy, an entire economy relied on that shit. Look, man, in order for me to pay for this boat, I need white people to be I need this racism to exist. Yeah, and now today you got white people who are like looking at the protests, unable to empathize with the cause. To them, it's just like, oh, I'm disgusted. How dare you disrespect the flag? Like making it about what it's not.
Well, but I used the hand thing in this program. Did you see it? Did you look at my thing? Anyway, it's okay. It's okay. I wanted you to finish your point and just notice it. But yeah, that's the thing too. Is like, is it not noticing? Is it empathy, or is it just the willfulness not to notice? Is it just because I don't know? Like I sent you a picture of someone I know's Facebook status, and like this person has black friends, and he said, well, this he was talking about the woman who called the police on the guys in the barbecue, and he was like, oh, it's a conspiracy. It didn't like it's a race. It's not about racism. This is a conspiracy with the media. And it's like, well, even if it is a conspiracy with the media, it's still racism. There's still racism involved. It's like, do you think is it purely no empathy, or is it like the willingness not to not let go of the privilege, like the privilege to be reminded of the privilege, and to not be reminded of their privilege is privilege, and to let go of all of that is kind of shitty, isn't it? Like it's like when a homeless person is in your neighborhood and you're fucking disgusted because a homeless person's in your neighborhood and you don't want to live around homeless people, but it's like they don't have a home. They're just trying to make it, and what I'm trying to say is like it's you look at that homeless person and go, this affects me this way, but you're not looking at the homeless person's problem because you're privileged. You're able to go, oh fuck, when are they going to move this person out? When is this person going to be gone? When is the problem not going to be in front of me?
Right.
But it's a hop, skip, and a jump to go, oh, he is in a worse situation than me. So that's why I'm wondering if it's just about privilege and not about really empathy. I mean, I guess empathy is involved, but the empathy you're implying is like ignorance.
The empathy I'm implying is ignorance. I guess,
like the lack of empathy is ignorance.
The lack of empathy is it's more, and I'm trying to relate to something that, and I'm trying to remember her name, famous black writer, female black writer, something Tommy, was it Tommy something?
knockers. That's Stephen King.
Wrong person. Okay, no. Toni Morrison. Jesus Christ. All right. So
Toni Morrison.
Toni Morrison said, and basically she looks at racism as a form of mental health issue. I'm trying to suggest that slavery might be a form of a disease. A form of it, like it's a mind job, it's a brainwashing job, but I'm comparing it to. I'm not saying it is a disease. I'm saying it's like a disease, and when it affects the host, it makes you unable to relate to another human being like they were human beings.
Yeah, but this is my thing. Is like it. Like what you're implying is there's an ignorance involved. And what I'm saying is there an ignorance involved? Like what I'm saying is it willful ignorance? Or you're saying it's just like what I'm hearing from you is like, it's like we give white people this benefit of the doubt of not knowing better. Like it's still shitty, their actions, but the ignorance is just a matter of not knowing better. What I'm saying is, how could they not know? Like when you call the cops on the police because black people are sitting in a Starbucks and you want them gone, you have that. You know
power. You have that power, correct?
And if you live in if you sit in a country, if you live in a country where was built on slavery, built on all that stuff, built on Jim Crow, built on redlining, built on all of that, and you sit and you watch a sports. You watch the NFL and you watch a majority of black people playing and entertaining you, and you don't think for a second that how fucked up that is as a white person. That's just willful ignorance because you don't have to. What I'm saying is I think it's more willful ignorance than it is just straight up ignorance. Like just I don't know. It's willful ignorance to not connect these things. But to see a majority of black people protesting, getting the other black people being shot by the police and being upset about it makes you a piece of shit. Like I want to watch you dance. Like seriously, think about that. I want to watch you dance. And shut the fuck up about your problem. It's dehumanizing. It's the very definition of dehumanizing.
Agreed.
It's racist. It's bullshit racism.
Let me flip it this way, right? Have you ever stopped to think, if you were white, do you think you'd be the good ones, or you'd be the ones that we talk bad about? Not talk bad about, but the ones that we criticize.
If I was who I am and I was acting like that, I would be a bad one. If I was who I am, because I know a lot about this shit. Like I stay informed. I watch the news. I analyze the news. I question things. And if I still acted this way, I would be a piece of shit.
Exactly. You'd be a piece of shit.
I'd be a piece of shit.
I guess I'm saying when you think about what is required to be one of the good white people, basically you have to look outside the box. You have to be able, like the status, what you consider normal. You got to be willing to challenge what's considered normal, what's considered acceptable.
Yeah, but it's, in this day and age, it's not even that hard, right? It's not even that hard for me to judge. Like I saw this week someone. I'm gonna make this last point because we're at like 23 minutes. I'm sorry, but yeah, I saw someone on. They were talking about the bombing in Mississauga that happened, and they were saying how because it's white people that bombed the brown restaurant, they don't call the white people terrorists. And then people chimed in. This guy chimed in. He's like, "Well, don't jump to conclusions. We don't blah blah blah. We don't know what it is. It could be a mob hit. It could not be a mob hit." And I was like, "Well, first of all, white bomber equals don't jump to conclusions. That's what white bombers. It's always don't jump to conclusions. It's give the benefit of doubt for white bombers." But he's like, "Well, you don't know what it is. It could be this. It could be that." And then I pulled up. It took me 2 seconds. I pulled up the criminal code of what's considered terrorism. And then I pulled up and ideology was in that. And I pulled up ideology. And even if it was a mob hit, it's still terrorism. It took me 2 seconds to do that. And that's what I'm saying is like the information that you're available to, if you really want to know, if you sit in there and go, hey, how come black people have too many, or how come I believe in this idea that black people maybe have single mothers are on the rise in the black community? It'd take you 2 seconds to Google that, go in there and go, if you really gave a fuck. That's what I'm saying. It's willful ignorance and not just, I don't know. It's willful ignorance.
Oh, you're killing me with this one here.
I like I said in the last segment, I think that's a hard one because this one bothered me during the week when I came up with it. I was just like, it upsets me when it's like, oh fuck, we don't have white privilege. I don't, like I was saying in the first segment, I think like the NFL protest thing is like, it's a willful ignorance, but I think it's willful with defiance. Like there's a defiance in it now. It's like, fuck that. My family weren't slave owners. And I think a lot of white people idea of racism is, I think that's what they know. And that's what it is. And
burning crosses. You got to throw in the burning.
You're right, and I think a lot of them look at it like what's going on every time they see an article as, oh, there's a conspiracy going on. Racism can't be this bad. I see a lot of white dudes who are like, every time a white guy shoots something or blows something up, they're always in there like okay, for example, okay, here's a perfect example. White nationalist, I forget his name. A white nationalist by the name of, I'm trying to find it and I can't find it. Anyways, so he I can't find it. I'm sorry. I'll edit this up. So, white nationalist who was one of the marchers in the Charlottesville rally recently killed himself, and yes. So I had a friend who posted that on Facebook, and people were like, "Yeah, fucking right," and blah blah blah, and then some white dude chimed in, "This is disgusting. How dare you?" And he was just going on about how, I don't agree with his ideas, but if you have a different, it still doesning mean you should condone him committing suicide. You guys just had a difference of ideas. And it's like, wait a second.
Yeah. White privilege. Ding, ding, yeah. Your privilege is so
how can you conflate how can you even use the term difference of idea when you're talking about me, black people, or okay, Jewish and black people, minorities should have the right to live freely in a country, whatever, to a Nazi who wants me dead.
Well, dude.
Well, this is that's white fucking privilege. But,
if you're lucky, he wants you dead. If you're lucky, he wants you dead. If not, he wants you to head towards your grave in a painful manner. Crying and kicking and screaming, all the above. Yeah,
all the above, right? I want you out of the country. Well, and I mean, I know neo-Nazis and white nationalists are all like, no, we don't. It's not violent. We want you out of the country. Oh, okay, so how are you going to get me out of the country when I don't want to leave? Bulldozers?
Yeah. There was a time where I was starting to feel bad about posting or sharing images of lynchings and all that. But then when I started hearing people like what you just described, because of difference of opinion, I'm saying, oh, you need reminders. Oh, that's why we're sharing these posts.
Yeah. Well, look at the guy on your Facebook who.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, yeah. Dudes who can't recognize their privilege. Yo, can I tell you how much this is funny? I told Gavin about it. I think I secretly told you because I knew you were going to jump in. It's like, okay.
I was a dog with a bone. I was Cujo.
Yo, that shit hurt my feelings, and this is not the first time where, out of all the people I thought would get it, like I thought he was one of the people who just got it. Like he was part of the White Allies.
Because he's
and turns out.
Is he an ally or is he just like black adjacent?
No, he's just black adjacent. I have this bad habit of assuming the best out of some people and being disappointed. So this happened because Netflix felt the need to recommend Tarzan. Now, I'll be honest, Tarzan TV to watch it. I tried watching it, but as soon as they made reference to, what's his name, Leopold of Belgium, that whatever, Duchess of Belgium, basically the Congo's Hitler. Like Hitler killed, what was it, 6 million? 6 million. This dude is on record for killing 300 million citizens of Congo, right? And,
is he?
No, white dude,
black,
white guy from Belgium. Belgium colonized country in Africa, and they went and they did some racist shit. So in Tarzan, they made reference to him, the king of Belgium. Now, there's a possibility the story of Tarzan might be around how this white guy helped these black dudes revolt against the king, whatever. That might be the story. But as soon as they made reference, all I can think about is the 300 people he killed, and I told myself, I can't picture any story that I'm going to enjoy around that theme. So I stopped watching it. But then, then I started talking shit about Tarzan, and this dude got upset. He came back and he replied to, "Hey, look, everyone has suffered, everyone has struggled." A long ass paragraph about how everyone struggled, and keep bringing up this black shit. It's not going to help the situation. The traditional. Hey, we're not going to achieve justice for black people by talking about your problems. That's the theme of that's the overall theme of. No. The takeaway I got from him is only black people's pain or struggle matters. That's his interpretation of me talking shit about Tarzan.
Oh yeah, it's like calm down. Relax.
Yeah. And all I was just trying to say is, you white dudes, you don't know how good you got it growing up because you were constantly fed with images of you can be anything you want, including the king of the jungle, the same place we tell black people to go back to.
Well, I was the thing about Tarzan, the thing about you're talking about is like it's I'm like you. I can't when something like that comes up in a movie or something, I am done. And like I like how it was the throwaway thing. Like it's a if you don't know much about that history, it's a throwaway and you just move on. Like I remember X-Men First Class, and this is what annoys me about X-Men. And X-Men used to be my favorite comic books. Like that was I love Wolverine, I love it. And then X-Men is basically an allegory for Professor X. Professor X is Martin Luther King. And Magneto is Malcolm X, right? So it's an allegory for the civil rights movement, and the mutants are black people. But in X-Men First Class, there's one black guy and there's two black people. One's a stripper who ends up being bad, and the other I'll get to that. And the other one's a black guy named Darwin, whose powers is he has the ability to adapt to anything, which is a great kind of metaphor for the civil rights movement. It's the ability to adapt, to grow, become, whatever. So to grow. So so there's a point in the movie where he's the only black guy on the team, or him and the girl who's a stripper, and he sacrifices himself to motivate the white people in a civil rights allegory. In a civil rights allegory, you kill the black guy off to motivate the white person, and then the other black character goes bad. And I'm like,
I forgot about that timing. Right. Exactly. Right.
But I think maybe if I was a white person, I could sit through that and enjoy it.
Exactly.
Because I enjoyed the movie up until that point, and then I was like, I'm out. Well, that's the thing is I'm sitting in a movie. And I already have to put things aside that I understand as truisms. I understand the history of the civil rights movement. I understand who Malcolm X and Martin Luther King is. I've read these books. So I have this knowledge in my head, and I'm already putting that aside. And it's kind of a privilege to just imagine you didn't have to know shit about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You can walk into a movie and just, you're fine. You can watch anything. Honestly, if I was a white dude, there's so much things I could enjoy right now. But that's the thing is like now the fun's over. That's what's happening. That's the problem is the fun is over and other people want to have fun too. No. It's amazing
how this conversation is like, because you're bring up something I wanted to talk about. One, are you familiar with the wolf arrow meme? arrow. So it's the I put it in the notes there, right? You have two wolves. You have one wolf that's bigger than the other. The bigger wolf has several arrows on his back, and the little wolf is like lying on the ground, looks like he's passed out with one arrow on the back, right? And the title or the caption says, "Pain is relative." Now, the reason I thought about this recently is I was having a conversation with these white dudes about how the world is coming to an end because of politically correctness. That was their side. I was the listening type and trying to figure out. Essentially, that conversation made me think of that comparison. You got the one big wolf. If you check the chat, by the way, I sent it to you. You can probably put it in the show notes, right? You got the one big wolf with several arrows, and pain is relative. That's my point, right? And I realized I was trying to get them to understand. Look, I get having to censor yourself. Having to watch what you say now could be a pain in the ass. I get that, but here's the reason, or here's some context. Like when you look at it from the point of view of, sure, watch your mouth around unhealed wounds. Like if your kid's dead, I don't show up to your funeral talking about at least you're single again, at least you're not a parent. You know what I mean? Saying insensitive jokes, you know what I mean?
At least you get out there and get the pussy. You gotta look at the bright side of this shit. Your kid's dead. Dude, house party. House party.
Between human beings, we have an understanding that, sensitive topic will be treated with sensitive, with shit that's sensitive. Now, for me, because of our difference in culture, a difference in history, there's things that I'm going to be sensitive about that you will not be. Now, either A, don't talk about it, or if you will, be respectful about it. Those are the fucking rules. I mean,
well, it's you ever have those people like friends or something, and you're like, "Hey, dude, that fucking don't do that. Yes. I don't like it," and they get mad at you, and they're like, "What? Yes. That's white privilege." Yes. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? You're like, what the fuck? And they get mad at you like you're the asshole because you don't like the way you're being treated. That's exactly it's that idea of like, well, you were talking about you were having the conversation with these guys and you were talking about political correctness and you were being quiet and the inconvenience of not being able to say certain things. It's like, but that's our life. Like you talk about it all the time working at your job and how you have to, like you were talking about it last week's episode about how you have to be quiet around you and another dude were talking and then some white guy came in and you have to change your language and your attitude because that shit will reflect badly on you if shit goes the wrong way. Look at the dude. Look at the dudes barbecuing with charcoal. You have to censorship is in our fucking bones. In order for me to survive in this society,
I gotta watch my mouth.
Right. The censorship is we've lived with it to make you feel comfortable. Look at the NFL. Look at the NFL protest. We did in the first segment. They're not allowed to even that's the and what's the worst that white dudes? Oh, I can't say the N-word. What the fuck? But you can say the N-word. You can. Go ahead. You're not going to get shot. You're not going to get murdered. You're not going to get arrested. We will lose jobs. The hypocrisy and the double standard of all of this is fucking amazing. It's the thing that I just thank God I'm bald because I would have patches of hair the way I would pull it out. I would pull out so much.
Hey, remember that I know you grew up on Sesame Street. That the guy who played the piano and he fucks up. He kept banging his head on the piano.
I used to do that as a kid.
I'm like that guy exactly. It's like the having a conversation with this gay dude who's explaining how. Oh yeah, I think we're a bunch of heteros talking about how dealing with rejection, and this dude jumps in. If I approach the wrong person, I can die. That's his world. Us, but you approach a girl who doesn't like you. Yeah, she might. The worst case scenario, she might tell you to go fuck yourself. In those words, this dude's got to worry about. I might lose my life because I judged or whatever, you know? It just, like, I was trying to explain, and that's what made the conversation so difficult. It made me realize is because they would need, what I'm asking them to do is to swallow a bitter pill and to say, yo, sure, your pain is valid, but in the grand scheme of things, when you're surrounded by people who've gone through what you've gone through regularly, you know, we're not the people you want to cry to. I guess that's what I'm saying. Don't bitch to us that, you know, we're not the, you know, sure, I can give you some sympathy, but you're going to have to, you know, reciprocate, motherfucker. I want to try.
Well, it's really hard to like give a shit about freedom of speech, and like that's the one thing that the right has fucked with. I actually saw a video of who's the alt-right guy that started alt-right? What's his name? Richard Spencer, and he's in an interview, and they're like, "What's the long game with this freedom of speech? It's not for freedom of speech. It's like, no, we don't want freedom of speech, but we have to use this as that's the talking point to get into what we want." And they don't want freedom of speech. It's not about freedom. It's a freedom of non-offense. Yeah. It's a freedom to say whatever the fuck they want. It's the freedom to bring, like Jordan Peterson, it's the freedom to bring up ideas that predate civil rights movement. It's like, hey, let's talk about eugenics. Let's talk about, you know, let's bring back Charles Murray in the bell curve and talk about shit that's been debunked. Let's talk about a whole bunch of debunked shit. Should women be able to work in the workforce? But what if they wear lipstick? It's like, oh yeah, it's about time we're talking about that. No, they've talked about it. They've dealt with this. It's all garbage horseshit that we like. Can we move forward as a fucking species, as humanity? When are we going to get to Star Trek? Like we're so far away from Star Trek, where everyone's slim, food is like at the ready, racism so like we're mad at aliens. We're not even mad at aliens. We're bureaucracy with aliens. Like when are we getting to that point? It doesn't seem like we're going to get there. Hey, I hope you guys are enjoying this episode. If you are, do me a favor. Go to iTunes right now. Leave a comment. Leave a rating. It'll help us out so much. Hey, also, if you want to follow us on social media, that'd be great. You can follow us on Twitter at MRD Podcast, on Facebook at Master Race Debaters, and on Instagram at MRD Podcast. We're also on YouTube. If you got comments and suggestions or just want to drop us and say, hey, fuck you guys, you can email us at masterrdpodcast@gmail.com. Yes, we'll take your emails. We'll respond. Trust me. We got nothing better to do. Anyway, here we go. Without further ado, me and B Black getting back into it.
Can I tell you this? I am so uncomfortable having this conversation. And that's what this woman said before this, because I know what's in my heart. And I know that I don't think anyone is different, better, or worse based on the color of their skin. But I feel like there is nothing any of us can say right now without being judged.
So this is the white tear segment. And I found two sets of tears, two puddles. First is Tommy Laren or Tommy Laryngitis or Tammy Lumpystain.
I know, right? I know, yeah.
I can't. If millennial, like if you could put millennial white woman blonde hate into one person, that is it.
No, I was gonna say, I'm actually debating on who I hate more, her or Candace Owens. And the fact that if I hate Candace Owens more, does that make me racist?
Yeah. Okay. So she was at a brunch. Yeah. I forget where, like somewhere. Like
no, I actually highlighted it. I wanted to shout out that city. You said Milwaukee. I said Missouri, but I could. Oh, no, Friendly, Minnesota. Friendly, Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yeah. Close. Milwaukee, Minnesota. So anyway, it was either Fonzie or Prince. So she was in what'd you say? Minnesota. Minnesota. Okay, so Prince. So she was in Minnesota and she was at a brunch with her family, and then someone they called her. They were calling her a racist bitch. Someone kept chanting "racist bitch," and then they threw water on her as she left. So this has become like a national fucking thing now. Like this is like she was on Sean Hannity, and they were like, "This is disgusting."
You saw that?
And then, Kathy Griffin jumped to her. Yeah. She jumped to her. Well, I might not agree with what you say, but I think you should be able to say it.
I love that you're taking this stance because I would have confessed something, right? And we might lose some of our black women listeners or shit like that. But it kind of, I think my Uncle Ruckus wanted to save a white woman came out. Oh, come on. Let's break these things down. Come on, use our words, folks.
Well, that's your what's that? You know what I mean? Called? Yeah. There's a little bit. I'm not gonna call it, but there's a little bit. But I think it's also because it stings more when there's like your own is saying this shit. When you got to fight your own, because it's like it's fuel for the other. So when like Candace Owens as a black woman's talking shit about black community, then white people go, "Well, see." You remember when her first video came out and fucking you know how many white people passed that shit around?
Of course, I
can't even watch this shit. So going back to Tommy laryngitis, she's getting invited to
Donald Trump
because there's so much water on her.
This chick got cancer, man. She goes, what do you say? Everybody's with Tommy Lauren, a truly outstanding, respected young woman. Fuck out of here, dog.
It was like, it's blonde woman's Make-A-Wish. All you have to do is get water thrown on you. You get to go to see the president.
I got to see the president.
But it's funny because that dude that rescued all those people and disarmed the shooter at the Waffle House
said shit about him.
Even shit about him.
Hey, what the fuck? You better acknowledge this hero. Yeah, no, Tommy's the real. Tammy's the real victim.
I don't see it. What do you think? I guess it's an obligatory question. Do you think throwing water on her was the right thing? Was a bad move?
Me being out with my friends and one of my friends decides to throw drinks at her. Okay, let me put it this way. During the scuffle, I'll be like, yo, I got their back. But once we get home, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Or girl, what the fuck? Come on, man. At home, I'd be like, yo, between us, I'm like, man, come on, man. You're making us look bad. I would have been butt in front. I would have been like, yeah, no, fuck that. Here, I'm throwing a drink too.
I don't know. I think I would have been like, I think I like it. It's like a momentary happiness that I got from it. Like, oh, cool. But then at the same time, it's like, now now there's another victim narrative. These people love being the victim of shit. Like you wouldn't believe.
I had a thinking, or I don't know what you call those things, but a bunch stream of thoughts that's going through my head. You know, the Yanni Lauren, not controversy, but phenomenon. Did you hear about that? Meaning, one sound clip, people hear two different voices, and it's making me wonder, like conservatives and liberals, whether it's the same thing. Because if you go on a conservative site, the way they talk about liberals, holy shit, it's like they're the victim. Like they're going to use this water situation about y'all. You start packing heat because these motherfuckers are throwing water at us.
And keep in mind, it's a cup of goddamn water. The NFL, they can't protest being shot in the streets. But this woman gets a cup of water thrown on her, and fucking the president's like, you need to come down here, bring the dress, bring whatever the water was thrown on. If you can keep it from evaporating, that would be helpful. We're going to do some forensics on this shit. We're going to find out who threw that water. That person is going to fucking, we're locking her under the jail. She's Guantanamo. Guantanamo. Yeah, Gitmo. She's going to Gitmo. The overreaction on this is fucking insane. Yeah. Hey, let me ask you a question. This is kind of off topic, but like I think not denouncing, like, say the alt-right or Nazis, like Trump didn't denounce. I don't know who the Klan is. I don't know. With someone like Taylor Swift not denouncing the alt-right, like I think it's kind of the same thing. Well, you don't denounce, like, the alt-right is popped her up as a queen, and she's like, no, she hasn't said anything. In fact, she sued the woman who wrote the article about it.
Wow. Rich people. Jesus Christ. Wow. But are you saying us not denouncing the water thrower is like them not?
I wasn't even connecting the two. I just kind of went off on a tangent. But
Hey, look.
Should we denounce the water thrower?
Thank you to the water thrower for that moment of. No, I'm not going to scold that person. Shit. Does that make me a hypocrite? Is that what you're saying? I just said, yeah, but the water thrower is like, shit. You know what I mean? Let's some context. Okay. And this is where this whole growing up, heaven or hell. Like, I don't think the water thrower should go to hell. No. But I do think all these white supremacists should burn in hell. Yes. Okay. I think it should be like, hey, come on, man. Next time, careful. For reasons of public relations.
But how do you, the water thrower got kicked out of the club? That's the maximum punishment the water thrower should get. Like, you got kicked out of the club. Because what do you give someone like that throws water? What I mean? Like, what do you lock them up for 900 years?
Exactly. Like, you know what? Martin Luther King didn't have water thrown at him. He got dogs. No, he had water hose. Oh. Yes. Like it was. They got it way worse.
I've had women throw water in my face. Tammy, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You know what I mean? Your Make-A-Wish came true, though. You're going to see the president. That's all it takes for a blonde woman. It's like a light sunburn.
You know the Jordan Peterson fan base are like, yo, fucking can't wait to help this damsel in distress.
Oh, she's perfect. ISIL bait. I wanted to pivot into the George Zimmerman, but I think we'll close on this. Keep talking.
Yo, that dude's in debt. What's the digit? $2.5 million?
Yeah, he says he's in debt because, But we'll talk about it another time. Let's just keep keep on Tommy.
You went black?
Yeah, that's some serious fucking white tears right there. And then devote a whole new segment of anger on Sean Hannity to complain about it. Like, that's fucking... Dude, I can't get that kind of press being good at comedy.
Holy shit. Just one glass of water, poor victim, damsel in distress. I'm going to see the president, buy my books. Buy my DVDs. Holy shit.
That woman just made her rich again. Some water made her make a lot of money.
The money you can take.
It's exasperating.
Piss it off. Hey, you heard that saying by... Lyndon Johnson. Is it Lyndon Johnson? The president after JFK. And it was convince any white man that he's superior and you could steal money from his pocket. And I'm realizing Trump is doing this perfectly. He's fattening his pocket. By the end of those 4 years, assuming this is 4 years, by the end of those 4 years, he's going to be richer than he was before.
I said it before the election. I said this man is a con man. He doesn't give a fuck about anyone but himself, and he's all about he'll say anything he needs, whatever it is to get whatever he wants. He'll say that. He will say that. But at the same time, he also has an ego where he's got to look like an amazing person. Mm-hmm. Because his whole brand is based on
but what I'm saying is but his supporters. They don't care about winning. They don't care about losing jobs. They don't care about the fact that how he bail out some company in China. They don't care whether there's peace in the Middle East, whatever the fuck. They just love seeing these footage of angry liberals and minorities in fear, angry.
All right, let's wrap it on that one. I think that rant that you just went on, I think that's going to change the tide in racism. No, because I had a lot of passion. I believed in you.
Respect, man. I love it. Yeah.